Hello and welcome. Today we're going to have a look at how to create sprite sheet animation in Love2D and LUA. To start with, I created a new folder with an empty main LUA file and a conf LUA that sets the width and height of the window, as well as an images folder that contains two images for us to play with. You can download these images from my website createindygames.com, and they look like this. The first one represents a wall in a computer game, and the second one is a sprite sheet that contains 8 individual frames, which, when played back in quick succession, create the illusion of a character walking. Let's start by creating a simple static image and displaying it on the screen. So we got a local variable here, wall image, and we need the love load function, and we load the image by using love graphics new image, and then we have to pass in the path to that image. And this will load the image and store it in the variable wall image, but we also want to display this image, not just load it. And we can do that in the love draw function by using love graphics draw wall image, and this is the width and the height of the image, which is 64 pixels. Save it, and when you run the software, the program, it looks like this. The draw function will display the entire image. For the player character, however, we do not want to display the entire image at once, but instead we only want to show part of the image at any given time. And for that we can use what Love2D calls a quad. And a quad is a rectangular part that is only part of an image. To do that, first let's create a new variable for the character. I'm going to call it worker image. And we're going to load it just the same way as before. Just replace the file name here, worker up strip 8 png. And we need to create a quad. So sub image is created with love graphics new quad, and I'll just throw in some random, more or less random numbers here. So the last two here, 512 and 64, is the total width of the image. 64 by 64 is the size of the sub image, and 128 and 0 is the position within this within the whole image. So this would give us 128, and 0 should give us this rectangular area here. And to draw it, we still use the draw function, but with different parameters. We pass in the quad, and then we pass in the position. So if we run this now, we get an error. So what is it? Quad expected got nil sub image. Yeah, because this should be declared on top here. Run it again, and there we have it. It's displaying the third image, the third frame from the entire sprite sheet. Okay. Next, we want to be able to display any of those frames and switch them out as time goes by. So first of all, we need to collect all those individual frames in a table. So let's go ahead and create some new variables. Worker frames, this will hold the individual frames, of course. Local frame width 64 and frame height, so also 64. And then we're going to create a loop from 1 to total number of frames. which I didn't declare yet. Should be 8. Frame as Love graphics, new quad, frame minus 1, multiplied by frame width, 0, and then frame width and frame height. And that's it for the loop. Now, we need 2 more variables. We need to know which frame we're currently displaying. So I'm going to call this current frame. And we need to know which time delay we want to pass between frames. So I'm going to call this desired delay between frame changes. Let's say 0.15. And we also need to know the time that's passed since the last frame changed, which is initially 0. And then we can go ahead and implement the update function, which will switch the current frame from time to time. Love update will be called periodically by the Love2D framework, and the framework passes in dt, which is the time that has been passed since the last time that update was called, and we can use that to update time passed since last frame change. So we simply add dt to that, and whenever that is bigger than the desired delay between frame changes, then we'll switch frames. So if time passed since last frame change is greater than the desired delay between frame changes, then we gotta do something. First of all, let's update time passed since last frame change by subtracting the time that has already passed. Let's put this in the next line so you can see it a little bit better. And then we need to increase the frame, the current frame. However, if this is larger than the total number of frames, then we need to reset it to 0. To 1 actually, since Lua starts counting at 1. An alternative, shorter way of doing this, however, is to use the modulo operator and then add 1 to it. So let's do it like this. And all that's left to do now is to update the draw function to use the subframe. So work frames, current frame, and that should be it. And we get an error, of course, which is simply a spelling error somewhere in line 17. Yeah, it should be Love graphics. And another spelling error, new quad, number expected, get no value. So let's see what that is in line 17. It seems like we forgot to pass in the dimensions of the image. We don't need the sub-image anymore because that was just for testing. Now let's try again. And another error. I wrote worker image period get dimensions, and this does call the get dimensions function, but it does not pass in the worker image. So I need to use a colon instead. and run this again. And finally, there you have it. The sprite is being animated and it looks like it's walking.